Hello everyone! Today we are going to revise the difference between the present simple and the present continuous and how to use them. Let us start with the usages. We use the present simple if we want to talk about things which are always true or facts. For example, water boils at 100 degrees. As for the present continuous, we use it to talk about things which are happening at the moment of speaking. For example, the water is boiling now, so you can put in the pasta. The second usage for the present simple is to talk about permanent situations or nearly permanent and true situations. For example, Julie lives in London. As for the present continuous, we use it to talk about temporary situations. For example, Julie is living in Paris for a few months. Usually, she lives in London. We also use the present continuous to talk about situations which are slowly changing. For example, I'm getting better and better at speaking English. Third usage for the present simple is to talk about habits or things we do regularly. For example, I drink coffee every morning. As for the present continuous, we talk about temporary or new habits. For example, I'm drinking too much coffee these days because I'm so busy at work. We also use the present continuous to talk about annoying habits, and it usually comes with always. For example, my flatmate is always leaving the kitchen in a mess. Fourth usage for the present simple is in schedule and timetables. For example, my plane leaves at 8 tonight. We also use the present simple to talk about the future after certain words like when, until, after, before, and as soon as. For example, I'll call you when I get home. As for the present continuous, we use it to talk about future plans. For example, I'm meeting John after class today. We also use the present continuous to talk about people in a picture or to describe a picture or the background of the story. For example, in this photo, my mother is walking beside a lake. Now, let's move to the keywords. The keywords for the present simple are adverbs of frequency. For example, usually, always, often, never, seldom, rarely, and sometimes. On Mondays, twice a week, twice a day, every day or every week or every month or every year. As for the present continuous, the keywords are now, at the moment, on Monday, look, and listen. But actually in English, we have some verbs which are normally used in the present simple and not used in the present continuous. These verbs are called stative verbs. The first group of verbs is the mental process verbs like know, suppose, think, understand. The second group are verbs that are expressing feelings like admire, adore, hate, like, respect. We also have verbs describing the senses like smell and taste. We have also verbs describing permanent qualities like consists of, contains, and lasts. And lastly, the speech act verb like promise and swear. Let's have some examples. You could ask Greg if he can help. He knows a bit about cars. Here, the verb knows came in the present simple tense. Those batteries don't last very long. The verb last came in the present simple tense. I swear I gave you back the keys. And here the verb swear came in the present simple tense. Forms. The affirmative form. The affirmative form in the present simple, we use the base form of the verb for all the subjects, except the third person singular, where we add s, es, or ies. As for the present continuous, we use the subject plus the present tense form of the verb to be plus the base verb and ing. The negative form. In the present simple, the singular form of the negative form, we use the subject plus doesn't plus verb in the base form. For example, Jane doesn't like cheese. As for the singular form in the present continuous, we start with the subject plus is not plus verb and ing. For example, it's not raining. The plural form in the present simple, we start with the subject plus don't plus verb in the base form. For example, we don't have time. As for the plural form in the present continuous, we start with the subject followed by aren't and verb plus ing. For example, we're not reading. The interrogative form. The singular form for the present simple, we start with does plus subject plus verb in the base form. For example, does she play? No, she doesn't. As for the present continuous, we start with is plus subject plus verb plus ing. For example, is she sleeping? Yes, she is. The plural form. For the present simple in the interrogative form, we start with do plus subject plus verb in the base form. For example, do they like music? Yes, they do. As for the present continuous, the plural form starts with are plus subject plus verb plus ing. For example, are they fighting? No, they aren't. Adverbs of frequency rule. The adverbs of frequency always come before the main verb, except with verb to be. Let's have some examples. I shop for groceries on Saturday morning. Use usually. Let's think together. Excellent! I usually shop for groceries on Saturday morning. Here, the adverb of frequency usually came before the verb. Jared is late for work. Use never. Great! Jared is never late for work. And here, the verb to be came before the adverb of frequency. So, is followed by never. Now let's move to the spelling rules. In the present simple, singular. If the verb ends in double S, CH, SH, X, or O, we add ES. For example, kiss will be kisses, wash will be washes. If the verb ends in consonant plus Y, we change the Y into I and add ES. For example, study will be studies. As for the present continuous, if the verb ends in CVC, we double the last letter and add ing. For example, swim, swimming. If the verb ends with E, we omit the E and add ing. For example, smile, smiling. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe, follow, and share it with your friends. Goodbye. Don't forget to answer the activities in the description box to check your understanding. لا تنسى الإجابة على الأنشطة في صندوق الوصف للتحقق من فهمك.